It takes it a second. I know, because I said we're getting ready to go. Nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to be on the recording. Let's see. Did the internet catch up to us? It says less. There we are. All right. It is 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the March 12th meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any additional items for consideration?
We do not.
Anybody else? All right, can I have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
I'll move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 12th?
I'll move.
Second?
Any discussion on those? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The consent agenda is 3.1 through 4.0 this week. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as recommended by the superintendent?
Second.
Any discussion on the treasurer's report, consideration of claims, transportation report, cafeteria report, cooperative bidding? That's all of it. Question? All those in favor? That brings us to our first community participation. If anybody would like to come forward, or am I missing something on there? Do you have presentations?
Nope.
Anybody would like to come forward, please do so now. Please remember the policy and the time. Seeing nobody jump, we will move on. 6.0 is new business. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Amanda Armlin from the position of teacher aide effective February 13th as recommended by the superintendent.
I'll move.
I'll second.
And there's a note that Amanda had not started. Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to accept the resignation for the purposes of retirement of Donna Moran, English teacher, effective June 30th, 2026, as recommended by the secondary principal and superintendent, with sincere appreciation with sincere appreciation for services rendered to the district.
I'll move.
A second?
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry for messing that up. I need a motion to approve the leave of absence for family medical leave purposes for Lorraine Buchanan with tentative dates of March 20th through May 22nd as recommended by the superintendent.
I'll move. I'll second.
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the appointment of Bryn Bukowski as probationary part-time teacher aide bus aide effective March 13th as outlined in the recommendation form and as recommended by the director of PPS and superintendent.
I'll move.
Second?
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Need a motion to approve the coaches for 25-26 school year as outlined in the recommendation form, contingent upon significant participants, as recommended by the athletic coordinator, athletic director, and superintendent.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion, just making sure we know who those are. So we've got
Red?
the ones in red.
Yeah.
So a modified volleyball, we've got modified assistant softball, varsity baseball assistant, and modified track.
Correct.
Varsity baseball head
Varsity
coach.
baseball.
I thought we did that one.
Did we do that one?
Mhm.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A motion to approve the appointment of Adrian Murphy as a long-term substitute school counselor with tentative effective dates of July 6th through November 24th, as recommended by the secondary principal and superintendent.
I'll move.
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Need a motion to approve the recommendation of the Committee on Special Education and Preschool Special Education.
Move.
Second.
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now we're on to the transportation proposition. This will be a roll call vote. I need a motion to approve the resolution as provided to adopt the following transportation proposal for submittal to qualified voters on May 19th. Do I have to read the whole thing? I do not. Okay.
I'll move.
Second?
Any discussion?
So this is for diesel. We're still in the period where we can
Correct.
purchase diesel.
Could be our last one.
Yeah. But there's still not enough information to feel confident to try to move to an electric bus at this point.
No, we're not ready.
We don't have the infrastructure and,
No. We're moving forward slowly, but we're not ready yet.
Other discussion?
yes.
Cory,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Jen,
Aye.
Michelle.
Yes. Motion passes. I need another roll call vote. I need a motion to accept the following request from the Hamilton Public Library to submit their proposition for inclusion on the district's ballot for submittal to the qualified voters on May 19th.
I'll move.
Second?
Discussion? Again, this is something that we do to ensure that they have a way to have a vote, but it has nothing to do with us directly. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions or comments? No?
Aye.
Cory,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Jen,
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion passes. I need a motion to approve the legal notice for the budget hearing, budget vote, and election on May 19th as authorized by the district clerk, and to make any necessary changes as needed.
I'll move.
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve Hamilton's participation in the following combined sports programs for 2026 through 2027 school year, as recommended by the athletic coordinator and superintendent, with the understanding that transportation to and from the hosting schools shall be the responsibility of the parents and guardians. Modified and varsity football with Waterville.
I'll move.
Second.
Discussion?
Thank you so much to Waterville.
We got 3 students again.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Maybe 4.
Okay. Other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to authorize the district clerk to open the ballot box and destroy the ballots blank and completed from the 25-26 budget vote elections as recommended by the superintendent.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? This is a yearly process. Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. School budget vote, board election inspectors, the poll clerk, and the chairperson. I need a motion to appoint the following individuals to assist during the capital project revote on Tuesday, March 31st, and authorize the district clerk to appoint someone on an emergency basis as recommended by the superintendent.
I'll move.
Second,
Discussion?
thanks to them for
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, appreciate those Sues for helping out. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion, we need to read this one.
I need a motion to appoint the following individuals to assist during the annual.
You just have to read this one, sorry.
Motion to appoint Michelle Jacobson as chairperson of the annual school budget vote board election on Tuesday, March 31st, 2026.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Then I should have done that together. I need a motion to appoint the following individuals to assist during the annual school budget vote board election on Tuesday, May 19th, as authorized by the district clerk, and appoint somebody in an emergency basis if needed, as recommended by the superintendent.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Thanks to everybody there.
Yes?
Yeah, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Back to you.
I need a motion to appoint Michelle Jacobson as chairperson of the annual school budget vote board election on Tuesday, May 19th, 2026.
I'll move.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. We're on to information and correspondence.
So I will start. Over the past couple of weeks, I've spent some considerable time in Albany, meeting with our assembly people and senators. And yesterday, we had the opportunity to go down for lobby days and sit with the education chairs from both the Senate and Assembly and talk about foundation aid. The three big topics were foundation aid. The one house budgets were released. The governor had asked for a 1% increase on foundation aid. Both the Senate and Assembly have asked for a 2%. It's still not enough. And that was our message loud and clear to both the Senate and Assembly education chairs. They agree. They listened. They were respectful and responsive to our needs. We'll see how it goes from there. So now the two one-house budgets will meet with the governor and they'll start negotiating where we'll end up. We also talked about universal pre-K. We believe in universal pre-K and the mandate for 2028 to have full-day pre-K, but there's a lot of layers and logistics involved in that and some unintended costs that could be a barrier to the district. The one-house budget did ask for trans aid to be included for transporting pre-K students. Some things like pre-K busing is going to have car seats, and you don't think about that when the bill is proposed, and so that's a cost to the district. And when you're talking about car seats on a bus, you're talking about an aid on the bus. So there's lots of costs. And then universal meals. Right now, universal meals are only K through 12. That should then, if you're going to have mandated pre-K, that should include pre-K students. So there's a lot to talk about and work through before that mandate is put into effect in 2028. We all believe in early intervention. We think it's wonderful, it's warranted, but there's costs that, and where does that money come from? So we talked at length about that, and then electric school buses. There's just so many barriers to implementing that, and the message back to us was that the timeline's probably not going to change. Logistics probably will change, and there has to be funding streams because the costs for electric buses are, $500,000. And that's a burden to the taxpayers, and where does that money come from? And what happens, it's a state mandate, and what if your community votes it down? Then what? So there's a lot of discussions happening at the state level about electric buses. We are continuing with our electrification study. Matt will give a bit of an update. We have a meeting, I believe, next week with our people doing the study, so we'll talk more about that probably at the April meeting. So those were the three hot topics in Albany that we addressed. It was nice to get in front and have seat time and face time with our politicians that are making decisions. And, you know, they sympathize with us, but they're also trying to lobby for other things as well. So we'll see where we end up. But, you know, both the one house are at 2. It's better than 1, but it doesn't do much. So we're hoping that we can get to, you know, we talked about 3 or 4. If we could get to 4%, that'd be wonderful. The likelihood of that happening is probably 0, but we'll see. Some other news I want to share with you. You know, I believe one of the greatest accountability measures for a district is your graduation rate. And are we preparing students to graduate college and career ready? And are we graduating students? And part of our embargo data was released. I'm happy to say that our graduation rate was 98%. Out of the 48 schools that were part of our review, that includes the 4 BOCES, we had the highest graduation rate. So, I mean, that's wonderful. That's a testament to our administrators, our faculty and staff, our support staff, our students, our parents. Collaboratively, that is a wonderful thing. You know, and we had 60% of our graduates have Regents with advanced designation, 33% with a Regents diploma, 2 with a local diploma, and then we had 1 student who was in an outside placement that didn't complete. So all of our in-house students completed and graduated. So I think that's wonderful, and that should be recognized and applauded, because that's really good.
Hats off to all.
Yeah,
Other?
thank you.
No? Good?
Yeah.
All right. Administrative reports. Any questions or? Sarah?
Thanks.
I was reading the athletic report. We're bringing modified back. That's what we were just voted on the coach. Or
Modified track, yeah.
back. And modified baseball's a tough one at the moment.
We're still talking to kids, trying to get some people that maybe aren't involved in something. So
That's good. Good. Well, thank you for the legwork you guys are doing to hopefully make that work. Our basketball teams finished wonderfully. Hats off to all of them for their hard work and dedication. So that was good.
Indoor track, ice hockey lost in the sectional finals. We had 5 ice hockey players, 4 ice hockey players that played for Cazenovia, so.
We've got a Masters coming up in a week,
Yep.
Next weekend.
next weekend,
Friday,
so we've got
Saturday.
that happening,
Yep,
so.
that's
good
where
things.
Lily is tonight.
Yep.
So.
So no student report. So it's Matt's turn, business manager report.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Good evening, everyone. Just as a follow-up to the electric buses, we do have our next scheduled meeting Tuesday morning next week on the 17th with Polera, which is the third-party engineering firm that we're working with through NYSERDA. So our electrification phase of this study and our preparation is complete, and that's the phase that they worked mostly with the Village of Hamilton because of the electric utility. That's the sole source of our power here on site, to go over load and what we need based on the fleet study. So the next step is for them to kind of come back with us, take that feedback they received from the village, and start to kind of look at our site plan and start to kind of map things out. So one of the things that we'll do, and this, we have to kind of massage this depending on how the vote goes on March 31st. Obviously, there's going to be coordination of work, and that's going to be very significant in our planning for the transition to electric buses. But there are 2 separate things, but they will be considered together as we move forward. So yeah, hopefully in April we'll have more detail from Polera. So as Bill mentioned, we did get a quote for an electric bus just to kind of see where we're at, and it has eclipsed $500,000. So that's sort of the baseline price for a full-size 70-passenger or so bus. So that doesn't include any of the infrastructure or any of the charging stations or chargers, with the superchargers, if you will, to charge the buses faster. So, you know, it's gonna be interesting. A lot can change. We anticipate there could be some changes within the next 6 months or so, but when this mandate came out and it was 2027, I was guilty of it. You think, that's a long ways away, but it's coming quickly, so we'll see. So we'll be prepared either way. And then just lastly, a budget update. With regard to sort of the revenue side of things first, our final tax cap calculation has been submitted to the comptroller, to the state, and it ended up at 2.26%, which is, I think, maybe 1/100% less than what I had thought at the last board meeting. So just for
Couldn't have gotten
context,
any closer?
what's that?
You couldn't have gotten any closer?
Yeah. BOCES exemption. So just for context, 1% increase is about $95,000. So, tooling a quarter is a little over $200,000. That would be higher, but we do have an 8% decrease in our debt service, our principal and interest payments on the last capital project kicking in when we converted our short-term borrowings to long-term financing. So that's really a wash when you look at it from the budget side of things. There's a decrease in the expense, which leads to a lower allowable increase. So, and then with regard to foundation aid, which is our big source of revenue for the budget, when Bill talks about those single house budget bills from the Assembly and the Senate, when we talk about 2%, what we're referring to is sort of a hold harmless and a minimum aid increase. So they have made some tweaks to the formula, but they're not things that benefit us, and this has been the case historically. So we've always sort of been in that pool of districts. I think it's roughly like a 40-60 split of those that are underfunded and those that are overfunded by the formula. We're always one of those districts that's overfunded. So a 2% would be, if we were funded according to the formula, we would actually have a cut because we're getting paid more than what the formula says. So the 2% is sort of a hold harmless minimum increase for districts. So the executive proposal called for 1%. Both of the individual House bills is calling for 2%. Both of those individual bills, the changes they're proposing to the formula are things that we don't believe would benefit us. And there are adjustments in the formula for homeless and foster students, which thankfully for us, it's not really something that we have to deal with. And then also migrant students and ELL learners. So again, we don't have as significant enough population that would increase our foundation aid. So unless there's other sweeping changes to the formula, we're going to be in that pool of the hold harmless. So whatever that minimum increase is, we're going to advocate for the most as possible. I agree with Bill. 2 would be great. We're not going to see 3 or 4. I just don't see it happening. So sorry to throw cold water on that idea, but I just don't see it happening. It's sort of the same old story with the budget. 70% of our budget is wages and benefits. We're a people operation. That's where the majority of our costs are. Wages, 4 to 5% next year. Employee benefits, probably in the 6 to 7% range. Retirement contributions continue to increase. Health insurance is the big one. I talked about that last month. We have our next consortium meeting next Wednesday, which will probably set our rate. Our consultant's recommendation was 9% in January. We'll have a couple more months of data in the current year, but I don't foresee that being much less, if any less. So, and again, for context, 1% on that budget line for us is about $35,000. So it's a significant expense. Other than that, everything else costs more. Utilities through the roof. It's really no different for us than it is for people at home. Any types of services that we need to employ outside people for that we contract with, that again, I believe it ties back to the personnel side of things. So, all businesses, all companies are facing this. So we continue to see escalation in costs with basically 2 to 3% increase of our two significant revenue sources, meaning the tax base and foundation aid. So right now, and again, you know how dangerous it is for me to stand up here and say this, but as we sit right now, and a lot can change, I would probably say we are roughly $200,000 or 2% over the tax cap as far as from being compliant based on keeping everything as is. So that's sort of where we're at, 35,000 feet. You know, unfortunately, as we really sharpen the pencil and go through line by line with all these other things that are going up, it's really gonna be hard to really address anything on the expense side of things without touching personnel. That's just the reality. And if you're following the news, if you talk to people in other school districts, you know that there's major changes in personnel happening in public education. We're no different. We're not quite to the level that I think a lot of our neighbors are, and we're fortunate for that, but that's the reality. Budget coffees, we are tentatively, we hope to get these finalized tomorrow and on our calendar. We have not had any yet, mainly because of the capital project vote. The capital project vote on March 31st has no fiscal impact on 26-27. And we do have 4 or 5 voting sessions upcoming, specifically for the capital project vote, and we really don't want to sort of muddy the waters and cause confusion talking budget. So we are tentatively planning on holding a couple coffees the day after the vote. So probably April 1st, April 2nd, we'll have a couple daytime coffees, and then we'll schedule some more the week after spring break. There's probably, I think there's a week and a half before the April board meeting. So we found those to be very valuable the last few years, getting community feedback. Participation's been great, we get a different perspective. So we will have those. Hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow we'll have them on the schedule. We'll obviously put out announcements for those. So that's kind of the update.
Thank you.
Good?
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Matt.
you.
Steering teams, inclusivity did not meet. They're hoping to meet next week. But they're still working on the Community Wellness Day. And they have some volunteers, both between some faculty and staff, as well as some from the community. So that's exciting for that project to be moving forward. So I thank Chris for that. Secondary and elementary committees?
Secondary, I missed that meeting, but I think a lot of people did, so that's on hold until this month. Elementary steering didn't meet because that was also the day of our first community cafe. So a lot of us were in attendance there. I don't know if you read it in Heather's report, but went really well. It was titled Raising Kids in a Digital World. And we had about a dozen families that showed up to that. And there was food back there that was catered by the Hamilton Eatery. And that was all part of that grant that we received. So there was really good participation. A few faculty members also, in addition to Heather, kind of mediated that event. And it was nice. It was like several tables, and you got to interact and move around and answer some questions that were kind of fed to you by the moderators. And it was just discussions with other families and parents, what worked in your household and what are some ideas for raising kids around devices and technology use in school and at home. And it was a good conversation, and we had really good, at least everybody I talked to, really good feedback about the event. So we are going to meet and I guess plan another 2 cafes this year before the end of the year. So stay tuned. But yeah, it was a great event.
I'm glad it was well attended.
Oh, and I think March Madness, I've heard from my kids, has also started in the elementary for reading. So they have these brackets with books at different levels. Is it every elementary class, or is it based on teacher participation, or?
I think almost
Most of them.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's almost every.
So we get an email all the time about which of the 2 books won, and they're incorporating a lot of parents that are going into the classrooms to read, at least in lower elementary. So I'm reading next week to my kids' class, and yeah, it's a fun event. They're really excited about it. My boys are anyway.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Competition is good. Policy Committee?
We met, we have another section of policy that should be coming to you next month.
Yeah.
This is, we did all those rescinding of policies, now we've got new versions of our old policies, the ones written by NISBA services. It'll be on, it's about us, it's on board policy, so nothing significant change there, just rewording in the style, the more plain style, straightforward than what we had before. And then we worked on a policy about AI, and I don't know, if Bill, if you had any updates, sharing that with other folks in the school yet, or is that?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No, Chris looked at it and
Okay,
he's okay with it.
Good.
So,
so look forward to that next
Yeah.
month.
Knowledge sharing? Oh, no, sorry, that was knowledge sharing. Advocacy update, that's what I meant.
So everyone should have received their NISBA resolution survey. If everyone could fill that out, that would be great. Rural Schools Association is doing a legislative lunch webinar on Monday. I have all the information for that. It's at noon if anyone wants to attend, but it'll be basically going over what was proposed and how that would affect mainly rural schools. So it might be something good to attend. I do plan on being on it. So I'll bring back stuff from that. Executive Committee for School Boards Association did meet. We have a new SBI coordinator. He will not, so they had 3 applicants, one dropped out, and then one found out the other person that applied and said, oh, they'd be a great pick, so they dropped out. So it was kind of like a default thing. So it's Brian Belair, who's the current superintendent for Whitesboro, who's retiring this year. He has to be out of his position for so long, so he's already kind of starting, and he's not done to the end of the year, but once he gets through his stated time away, he will be assuming that role. So he is really excited, ready to really take SBI in a new direction, and he's so excited about this role.
he'll be great in that role.
I think so too. So that's really refreshing because we are getting a little stagnant in some ways, and it's kind of been an interim year. So that should be good. SAA awards. Do we know, Bill, will we be submitting for that? Do we have students or the guidance counselors working on submitting, nominating somebody for that? Okay. They talked about that a lot and how our students are doing really great things, and year after year they're really disappointed with the lack of effort that is put into some of those. So if we could do a good job, that would be great. And they're gonna start calling schools and really just trying to get people to nominate. I guess a bunch of schools haven't even been nominating and stuff, so really working on that. 5 people attended Lobby Day. I was supposed to attend but wasn't able to at the last minute due to a personal thing, but I guess that went great, kind of the same as like Bill said for his when he went. They had some great conversations, but kind of is what it is. SBI hosted the district clerk workshop, said that that was really, really, really great and well attended, and had a lot of good feedback for that. The DSA and SAA awards are gonna be held at Twin Ponds again. It's on May 14th. So they're trying to get people to come and support the students and administrators, faculty that receive those awards. The other couple of things, there was a lot of discussion about budget votes and ballots. Apparently, like, the electronic machines are getting really expensive, so there was a lot of conversation around that, and a lot of schools are actually going back to like ballot boxes, and so they talked about that for a really long time. And then the other big thing was pre-K. To expand on what Bill said, there's actually a lot of schools that are receiving this funding and they don't have the students to use up the funding, or they don't have space in their facility to be able to have like these all-day pre-K programs.
So there's a lot of schools really like struggling and trying to navigate that. Transportation was a huge thing, as Bill alluded to, so, more to come on that and how it's all, I mean, again, it's a really great thing, but I think you have to find the balance, and like I said, there's so many people saying, we have all this money, but we don't have any kids, there wasn't any kids born, they're just not in our district. So really struggling, because obviously you don't wanna leave money on the table, but you can't use it if, you know,
There's no kids.
if there's no kids to use it on. So, and then the biggest thing, so I'm gonna look to all of you, what they're encouraging us to do is, I'm not even sure why they were ever named like SBI executive meetings, because they're not really executive, they're open to the public, like they're open to all school board members. So what they're encouraging is, each district to have a rep, and there's usually like 4 meetings a year, but everyone's being encouraged to almost like do a bring a friend thing. So they're like, so bring a fellow board member to each of the meetings, like try to expand this, we want really big meetings. So if anyone's interested in that, the next one's in June, and I'd love to have a partner, so, and that's it.
You'll email us about the date and time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That way we can check calendars.
And I did email everyone the NISBA advocacy alert that went out with the analysis for the Senate and Assembly. if you
Literally
wanna look at that.
1 minute after we got the other one.
We'll
we
see,
got-
any,
1 minute.
oh, there you go. Well,
Like,
I'm
how
never
did I get
sure,
2
like,
emails
what
from
I
you?
get is an advocacy person and what people don't, so I'd rather you get it twice than not at all.
Appreciate it. It was just
awesome.
something.
That's funny.
Well, thank you. And yeah, email us about that meeting and we can figure out who can join you.
Will do.
Board discussion, we've got our annual meeting for BOCES on Wednesday, April 15th at 6 p.m. As always, we hope everybody can join. It's a wonderful night to celebrate the students that are there, and hope Lily is able to come. Okay. Also, petitions are available for the Board of Election candidates. Please contact Jody for more information in the district office, and those petitions are due on April 2nd at 5 p.m.
20th.
What?
Page 20th.
It says petitions,
I'm sorry.
petitions are due on April 20th. Well, there you go. And when you get the petition, it'll say it on there anyway, so.
2 seats this year.
Yes. That brings us to participation. If anybody would like to come forward, please do so.
Sorry, I have to take notes or I'll like lose my train of thought, just not stop talking.
Just remember our time frame.
So, I'm Tori Kowalski, I'm an art teacher at Hamilton Central and the HTA president. I just wanted to share with you, we've been looking a lot at scheduling, so I've been working with administrators, teachers, students. We've talked a lot about the secondary schedule. I know it's been a topic of conversation, so what I really just wanted to share was that we did, we put so much time into looking at our schedules. We looked at every district you could name schedule, and like I asked so many questions, I feel like we learned a lot about the constraints and the benefits of different schedules. I lost sleep trying to create a magic schedule that would fix like all the problems of the world, and that didn't happen. And I had to realize that like the perfect schedule that has no faults doesn't exist, and any schedule will have imperfections. So we want to decide on a schedule that is best for student learning. Obviously. So all I want is for the board to know that like teachers are always willing and happy to talk about scheduling things and open to discussing, like how day-to-day things run with classes in regards to the schedule, whether it's the benefits of a longer class period versus shorter class period, or how many times you see students a week. I know the unit is, we are very passionate about what we do, and we are very open to talking about it to figure out what is best. So I just wanted to share that with you as the discussion continues on to scheduling in the future. So thank you. Do you have any questions right now? Are you okay? Okay. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Laura Tumulty. wanted to make a couple of comments about, I hope this is okay, because it's in the agenda, the secondary school report, it just didn't get discussed. Okay, so I was really grateful to see that the teachers are talking at faculty meetings about the 1-1 device issue, and I just wanted to express support for that conversation to continue and raise a couple of other things. I'm sure that everybody knows, because you're around the students or you hear them or you overhear them, that kids are finding lots of ways to get around the cell phone policy. They're bringing a new phone that they have hidden behind their Chromebook while they put the old phone in the pouch. Kids are really good at using the Chromebooks to get out to websites to play games on. And I don't think it's fair to ask kids whose prefrontal cortexes are still developing to try to monitor their own attention away from the really exciting video games that are playing on the screens around them during class or during study hall. So I really hope that there's conversation about how to help with that. I hope that in the conversations about whether there are good things that the 1-1 devices are doing, I really hope there's also conversations about the opportunity costs of the things that are not being done because the 1-1 devices are how instruction is being used. And then, again, you all know this, but I'm just reiterating it both from the parent perspective, but also from I teach at Colgate and sort of what is being seen there. The national data on how much late middle school and high school students are outsourcing homework to AI and how good they are at doing it means that students are not getting the kind of practice that is needed for learning in the ways that teachers are expecting. And even the products in the platforms on the school devices that are sold to the schools, like the school version of Google Docs or the school version of Grammarly, the amount of AI support and nudging that is constantly the prompt of, do you want me to help you write this? Do you want me to summarize this? Do you want me to rephrase this? Even as a full grown-up, it is a lot of attention to not pay attention to that when I'm in a document like that that I need to use for work. And I really hope there's conversations about how difficult that is if you're a kid. Sorry, there's one more comment. Oh, that at the college and university level, there's lots of conversations, including in math-heavy places. It's not just people who like to read and write who are upset about this, but having to do a lot of paper and pencil activities to ensure that kids get the practice, because there is now no problem set that you can't dump in to an AI product and have it make it sound like something a really talented 11th grader could do. So I'm just really, really hoping that there are broad and deep conversations about this so that kids are actually doing the learning and the practice that we think they're doing. So that's mine. And I know you can't say a word, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I'm looking online. No comments there. See nobody jumping. All right. We do have executive session this evening. There will be no voting after, so we will not come back online. So that's where we're at. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. A motion to enter into executive session to discuss particular individuals. If I could have that.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we'll take a 5-minute break. Thank you all.